Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you here. Today, we will analyze the palm of a man born in 1967, a hand that bears many distinctive signs related to personality, career, emotions, wealth, and later life. If you are interested in the field of physiognomy and want to explore more real-life cases, don't forget to click the subscribe button so you won't miss the upcoming videos. And if you'd like a personal palm reading, feel free to contact via the email provided in the video description below. Now, let's move on to the detailed analysis of this hand. First of all, when looking at the overall shape of the hand, it is evident that both hands are very thick. On the palm, the mounts are very prominent and show many auspicious signs. Firstly, when looking at the thumb, it stands out quite clearly. Notably, there is a visible phoenix eye pattern on it. This is truly one of the auspicious signs, indicating that the owner is intelligent. Combined with a clearly defined headline, with few breaks or cuts, this further shows that the person is resourceful, tends to enjoy being in control, and has a strong sense of responsibility in life. This hand also features a very prominent mount of Venus, along with a wide lifeline. This indicates that in both family and life, this person often plays a leading role, taking on many responsibilities. Within a group, they also have the ability to lead others effectively. Additionally, one of the other auspicious traits is that the ring finger is quite long, even longer than the index finger. Usually, people with this characteristic possess strong communication skills. In the area of the Mount of Mercury, there are also many lines of wealth, indicating that this person can use language to build relationships, do business, and seek out many opportunities. Furthermore, the hand also shows clear signs of career, fate line, and indicators related to property. This hand is considered to belong to someone with a comfortable standard of living and the potential to achieve wealth. On this hand of his, there is also one of the very good signs, which is that he possesses a clearly visible pragna boat shape. This is one of the rare auspicious signs. However, it should be noted that people who have the pragna boat shape on their hand often go through a rather difficult youth, especially internally. They always long to find a suitable harbor for their life. Even if born into a family with tradition or good material conditions, they still have an awakened spirit, desiring independence and not wanting to rely on others. Therefore, during their youth, their life often carries many twists and hardships, or is always in a state of longing to seek something profound. People who have the pragna boat sign on their hand like this are usually those who in past lives have practiced spiritual cultivation and walked the path of enlightenment. Thus, in this life, they tend to continue that journey. Their lives often push them into difficult circumstances, but it is from these that they gain enlightenment and make new progress in life. On this hand, the difficulties are quite clearly shown. Although the lifeline is relatively clear, it has many crossing lines. Moreover, in this area, there is a rectangle shape lying on the lifeline. This rectangle represents a period of many fluctuations, especially between about 40 to 50 years old. During this time, he may get involved in disputes and lawsuits. If not careful, he might even be entangled with the law. This shows that he has experienced or will experience a period of quite heavy life pressure. However, in the center of the palm, there appears a fairly large triangle of blessings. This is a very good sign, indicating that the later years will develop positively, with increasing advantages over time. In addition, the Mount of Jupiter on this hand is also very prominent, with many lines related to developed intuition. This shows that he is someone who lives spiritually, has a perfectionist nature, and a strong will to rise. Sometimes in life, he clearly shows the ability to take control and always has the desire for independence, not wanting to depend on anyone. People who possess these intuitive lines on their palm are often said to have a developed sixth sense. They have very sensitive spiritual abilities and often seize opportunities quickly. In life, when meeting or talking with someone, their intuition will tell them what kind of person that is. Thanks to this, they rarely get deceived or easily trust the wrong people. On this hand of his, there is another sign indicating outstanding intelligence, which is that he has a very clear letter M shape on his palm. People with an M-shaped hand are usually highly independent and very reluctant to ask for help from others. Only when facing real difficulties do they seek assistance. Otherwise, they mostly rely on themselves. Another notable point is that his fate line is quite long and clear. This shows that his path in career and success has great potential for development. Additionally, there are positive lines running upward from the area below the lifeline, indicating that after setbacks in middle age, he has the ability to recover and strongly develop his career. A clear fate line is a sign of an ambitious person. The fingers on this hand all have vertical stripes, which indicate a good later life. This person receives support and care from family, and his wealth tends to accumulate. However, in the period from about 30 to 40 years old, he may have experienced failures, possibly bankruptcy or losses related to money. This is clearly shown by horizontal cuts crossing the fate line in that area. These may be events related to work or finances. Moreover, at the end of the lifeline, there are downward lines, indicating losses and setbacks in youth. However, the very encouraging thing is that at the end of the lifeline, there appears a leaf shape or a fairly large oval. This is a sign that although youth was difficult, the later years will certainly bring great fortune. This fortune may come from ancestors or family, such as inheritance left by grandparents or parents. This is considered one of the very good signs in physiognomy. This hand also shows many lines of kindness, along with long and clear travel lines. This indicates that he tends to live freely, frequently moving and traveling. The hand also suggests that working far from home or going abroad will bring many advantages and good opportunities. In the palm area, there are lines that represent protection, called the lines of kindness. People who have these lines often clearly feel that in life and work, they are silently blessed and supported by some unseen force. This hand carries a strong sense of karma, so if possible, it is recommended to engage in spiritual activities such as worshiping ancestors, dedicating merits to them, or doing good deeds and helping others, which will bring many blessings. When looking at both hands together, his right hand also shows many positive signs, expressed through clearly upward palm lines. However, during his youth, he may have experienced an unexpected accident or had to undergo surgery. Despite that, he still has a good ability to accumulate wealth. In the center of the palm, there is a very notable sign, a clear and balanced letter X shape. This is one of the good forms of the letter X. When combined with the phoenix eye pattern and intuitive lines, it indicates that he is a very spiritual person with a strong faith in karma. Whatever he does, he usually thinks carefully beforehand, is cautious and responsible. At his current age, if he has the opportunity and time, he should practice more activities related to prayer, charity, or spiritual focus. Additionally, the headline on this hand is very straight and distinct, showing that he is practical, straightforward, and not dreamy or unrealistic. Combined with a very clear heart line, especially toward the end where it tends to branch out, this shows he is very emotional, always thinking of others, caring and taking care of those around him. Observing the mounts of Mars and Moon on the hand, they are quite prominent and not heavily cut or damaged. This shows that he has abundant blessings and often receives help from noble people in life. With the clear letter X shape on the palm, it can be seen that his youth experienced losses related to money. These losses mostly stemmed from trusting others too much, especially in matters of love. During his youth, he lived much for others, always worrying and thinking about others first. However, when he himself encountered difficulties and needed help, he did not receive equivalent support. This led to emotional wounds, causing him to experience negative feelings and loneliness. However, after those setbacks, he learned to open his heart, drew lessons, and matured. His intuition also grew stronger from that. People who have the prajna boat shape in the center of their palm like him, whether they want it or not, will go through drifting and unstable periods or more or less difficulties before achieving real success. When it comes to marriage, this hand shows a fairly positive sign. The two fingers, the middle finger representing himself and the ring finger representing his spouse, are closely held together very nicely. There is no gap between the two fingers, indicating a close and bonded marital relationship. However, internally, there are times when he feels pressure regarding family and emotions. Even so, his heart line shows no signs of breaks or strong disruptions, which means that his married life does not face major dividing crises. Therefore, if he knows how to maintain harmony, express sincere emotions, and act more gently, the marriage can be completely stable and fulfilling. However, this does not mean that married life is without problems. At the current stage, there is an inverted triangle shape appearing in the area related to love. This is a sign representing emotional pressures that exist or may arise and need his attention and caution. It is possible that around the age of 40, he had negative thoughts, even sometimes feeling that he and his wife were not truly compatible. Those thoughts may be pessimistic, causing confusion in emotional matters. However, if he can overcome this phase and maintain stability in the marriage, then the relationship has the potential to develop sustainably in the long term. Over time, the marital feelings will become increasingly complete, abundant, and happy. This hand also shows that his youth experienced many setbacks, even bankruptcy or major losses in life. But the later years show a better ability to accumulate. The palm area also shows signs related to children. With two clear parallel lines, he may have at least 2 children. These children are likely to develop very well. Additionally, below the heart line, there are many branching lines, indicating that his descendants will be numerous, harmonious, and all thoughtful, filial, and affectionate. This is one of the features that clearly indicates a good later life. Although this hand does not show very strong signs of great wealth, it still indicates a fairly comfortable level. If he does business or invests, there is definitely potential to develop in a positive direction. Currently, the hand also shows that he still tends to enjoy working, even though he is no longer young. This is the type of person who is dedicated and hardworking, with a strong work ethic. Even in old age, he will continue to strive and work tirelessly. Thanks to this, his wealth tends to keep accumulating steadily. Overall, this hand is rated at a fairly comfortable level or higher. However, this year, he needs to pay special attention to health issues. At the same time, he should also be cautious with troubles related to lawsuits or disputes. There may be some conflicts or complications in work, especially issues involving paperwork, procedures, or legal matters. Therefore, everything needs to be handled very carefully and meticulously to maintain and sustainably develop his career. The above is the entire analysis of his palm lines. If you see this sharing, I wish you always great success and a fulfilling, happy life. Thank you very much.